Farm. Family. Community. This is Midwest Farm Weekly.
Good morning, I'm Elaine Wells, and thanks for joining us on Midwest Farm Weekly. On our show today, we're checking in on the corn crop locally, why some farms need to get the chopper rolling now. Plus a tasty trip to Door County for Alice in Dairyland. We get an update on that region's prep work to host the statewide competition for the title next year. And it's time to sign up for 4-H. We'll look at the benefits of this program, teaching kids important life skills. In your news headlines, sign up is now underway for the Milk Loss Program assistance. This is for dairy producers that had to dump milk without compensation due to weather events that stopped delivery or storage of milk during the years of 2020, 2021, and 2022. The sign up goes through October 16th, and contact your local FSA office for full details. Producers enrolled in the Dairy Margin Coverage Program are keeping a close eye on the Farm Bill. It is set to expire at the end of this month. If the bill lapses, so could the safety net offered by this coverage. The DMC program was authorized in the 2018 Farm Bill to offer protection to producers when the difference between the all milk price and average feed price falls below the producer-selected margin trigger. So far this year, producers have received record payments from this program as milk prices fall and feed prices remain high. While this coverage is optional, losing it could hurt local economies.
It would cause huge supply chain disruptions, and that would make milk less available in stores, so there'd be an increase not only in milk but in all kinds of dairy products. The price of milk could potentially double.
The Dairy Margin Coverage Program has to be renewed every 5 years, and it was last passed in 2018. It must be authorized in Congress's 2023 Farm Bill for the funding to continue. The crop production report from USDA says corn production will be up, while soybean production is down from 2022. Corn production is up 10% from last year, now forecast at 15 billion bushels. The average U.S. corn yield is projected to be nearly 174 bushels per acre. 53% of this year's corn crop was reported in good or excellent condition. That's 1 percentage point below the same time last year. Soybean growers are expected to decrease their production 3% from 2022. It's forecast at 4.15 billion bushels. No other state harvests more corn silage than Wisconsin, nearly 1 million acres annually. Here's a look at why farmers need to keep a close eye on the crop this year so they do not miss their ideal harvest window.
This growing season, Elaine, was marked by the fact that it was really random as far as precipitation, where we got rainfall and we didn't have stress on corn. Those longer season hybrids over 100+ days, they're still a little green, but where we've had drought stress and maybe a shorter hybrid, farmers need to be vigilant because moistures are dropping rapidly in some areas.
Crops and soils educator Kevin Jarek spends this season in the field, and he says some local farms are ready to chop corn silage.
When we talk about harvesting corn silage, there are some general rules we follow as far as typically we lose about a half a point of moisture per day. This is a year that's going to be different, given the fact that we had 3 different emergence events in the fields. We have corn at various stages of maturity, and we have the lingering effect of the drought. So because of the fact that we still have dry soils, even where we received rainfall, there's the possibility that that corn may not increase in moisture, which it typically would compared to other years. So even if we think that our corn isn't ready, what I can tell you based on results from silage dry downs we've done, there is corn silage that is in the low 60s and really does need to be chopped right now.
If there is rain in the forecast, farmers need to pay close attention to their feed.
So when we have these prolonged periods where the plant really can't take nitrogen up because the soil's too dry and we just don't have that capillary action. Once we get a soaking rain, all of a sudden that plant is just going to say, wow, finally I can feed myself, and that nitrogen will accumulate in the plant. Now, it typically is in the lower portion of the plant, so we're talking at the base 6, 12, 18 inches up where there would be the greatest concentration or risk. So one of the things farmers can do is they can raise the cutter bar on the chopper if they think that's a concern. Otherwise, it is okay to chop that stuff, but you want to let it ferment 30 days, 60 days. And the other thing is, we don't just feed straight corn silage, we dilute that forage with other feed, and that will thereby reduce our risk. However, it's important to note, if you do think you have concerns or there is an issue, it is best to get it tested.
This year's crop is also at higher risk of disease development.
And you can actually see a concern right here. See that discoloration? Last year we kind of dodged tar spot. Our yield was pretty well set by time it finally made it here to northeast Wisconsin. This year these plants have been under so much stress, so the concern is, depending on what we have for weather in the coming weeks, we could see some increased disease pressure because of the fact that these plants simply are at a point where, between not having the amount of precipitation, having to compete with uneven emergence and everything else, there is an increased probability, I would suspect, that disease could be a concern later on.
Then, when it comes time to buy or sell,
typically when we're talking about corn silage, because of the increase in our grain yields, the amount of grain in a ton of silage has gone up. We were at 7.5, 8, 8.5. Now we have hybrids producing near 9 bushels of grain per ton of corn silage. The problem is, when you walk in these fields and you see the uneven emergence and you see the lack of development of an ear, farmers really need to decide if they're going to purchase or sell silage, that they're being fair to all parties involved by making sure they have a representative sample of what the grain portion is going to be.
As you saw in the video, Kevin pulled several stalks to show just how stressed the corn is this year. He says in many cases there are 2 or more partial cobs. We'll take a look at what that means for overall quality on next weekend's show. The fall session of the Badger Dairy Insight gets underway soon. The webinar series started online during the pandemic. It has evolved into a quick learning opportunity for farmers, nutritionists, educators, agribusiness professionals, and more.
So as a dairy producer myself, I think I'm always seeking out new information. And so I feel anybody in that industry, or just people in general, are constantly looking for any way of grasping anything they can learn. This is a great free education thing. So I think that really helps too. And, you know, everybody just wants to continue to grow and get better and better and better, whether it's for us or whether it's for consumers out there. Really want to make sure we're doing the best job possible. We really gear all topics around like 4 work group titles. So animal welfare, breeding and genetic selection, automation and modernization, and then dairy nutritional decisions. So the first one that we have coming up really is kind of talking about more management stuff, looking at like blood level or blood panels, and then looking at how the frequency of fresh cows in an automatic robotic milking herd. And then we also have manure processing coming up, and then an animal welfare with moving cows without the cows. So options for interactive employee training. We encourage people to ask questions, even if you need to stop that speaker because you really have something important you want to ask. The educators are in charge of watching that chat function, the question function, so we can make sure if we see a question coming in that we can get it to that presenter right there at that moment. Otherwise, all questions are answered at the end.
All of these webinars will be the 3rd Tuesday of the month at 11 a.m. You're encouraged to pre-register to get that Zoom link, and you'll also be the first to have access to the pre-recorded sessions. To help Wisconsin Spanish-speaking dairy workers and Spanish-speaking parts of the dairy industry, UW-Madison Division of Extension has now developed a webinar series. It's delivered in Spanish. These sessions are an update on different dairy topics, covering everything from reproduction to colostrum management, fresh cow management, milk quality, and much more. The first of these is happening September 20th. For a list of all of the topics, you can visit the Midwest Farm section of wearegreenbay.com. Still to come on Midwest Farm, Allison Dairyland tours Door County. They're showcasing the diverse agriculture in the region as the peninsula prepares to host the Alice Finals next year. Welcome back. Last week's blast of heat impacted more than our suntan lines. Several fruits are in season right now. Local 5's Ryan Kudish is digging deeper into how that extreme heat impacted our crops.
Extreme heat is a different weather pattern that doesn't occur very often here in northeast Wisconsin. But when it does, we notice more of the negative impacts, like disrupting our outdoor activities or maybe our health. But the extreme heat does have a positive impact on fruits. I sat down with Stephen Baker from Trout Springs Winery to discuss the impact the extreme heat had on grape production this year.
Thank goodness we had some heat units the last week or so, because before that we were at about 16 degrees Brix, which is not very ripe. This last week, after we had the 90-some degree days, we rose about 2 Brix a day, so we're now about 22, 23 Brix.
Prior to the heat, Baker said his production was not on schedule.
Before the heat hit, we were not where we needed to be, so those 3 or 4 days of high heat units that we got really helped us out in making our crop come in on time this year.
With peak apple season soon approaching, Steve Gonering from Misty Ridge Orchard says the heat is speeding up his production.
As far as the apples with the heat, I would have to say that the apples seem to be coming in just a little bit earlier than normal, maybe like a week or so, maybe a little bit more. The size has been very nice. The apples have been sized out a little bit better than what we've expected this year with the dry weather that we did have. So that's a good thing.
Both of these fruit growers proving that a sweet deal came from the extreme heat in northeast Wisconsin. In Green Bay, Ryan Kudish, Storm Team 5.
Thank you, Ryan. Meteorologist Alexis Staniak is here today. Will our fruit get another boost of heat?
You know, we do have that chance to get warmer by the end of next weekend. For now, though, trending a little bit cooler. And as of Thursday, we saw just over 22 inches of rainfall move through. So we are pretty close to average for this time of year. Not as wet as we were in the past year of 2022. We saw 27.35 inches by this time of the year. However, for the month of September, we are well below average for rain. In Green Bay, we're about an inch below where we normally sit for this time of the month. The further south and west you go into the state, more of a severe to extreme drought. La Crosse about an inch and a half below where they should be for this time of year, as well as over in Eau Claire. Normally for the month of September, we average about 3.2 inches of rainfall. Our average high temperature for this month is 71.7 degrees. Our average low temperature is 50.2 degrees. Now we do have a little bit of rainfall coming through within the next 10 days. Not a lot though. It's going to be just over a half of an inch, maybe even over 3/4 of an inch. More of the rain will sit to our south and west. In Minneapolis and Omaha could see almost an inch of rainfall come through within the next week and a half. We're right around this at average place for rainfall and precipitation for the next 2 weeks or so. The Climate Prediction Center, however, has put the further west you go into Wisconsin and most of the Midwest in an above normal category for rainfall. So hopefully we can get some of that over into northeast Wisconsin. Now we're a little bit warmer to start off this weekend. 72 degrees for your Saturday, cooler to end the weekend. Sunday, Monday, temperatures back into the mid 60s. And then there's that warming trend, 75 on Tuesday. By the time we get back to Wednesday, temperatures in the low 80s, 79 on Thursday, and then we do cool off by the time we end our next weekend. Now, the next 2 weeks or so here in Wisconsin, the Climate Prediction Center has put us back into this above average category, so that warmer trend should continue as we head into the end of September. So into the middle of September, our temperatures will be back to above average. Precipitation is around average, and looking ahead into September and November from the NOAA temperature forecast, temperatures here in Wisconsin should sit right around average. Stay with us. More ag news coming up after the break.
Alice in Dairyland spent a day in Door County touring several agricultural landmarks. She's visiting that county each month as they prepare to host the crowning of the next Alice in May. I joined the tour to see how the current Alice is making an impact.
So far in the first about 2 months as Alice in Dairyland, I have had so much fun traveling the state of Wisconsin and getting to experience so many incredible events.
From farm technology days to 11 days of state fair fun, Alice in Dairyland has already logged more than 8,000 miles promoting Wisconsin agriculture and sampling the industry.
I really loved, there was a spinach dip, there was a blueberry walnut dip, there was cherry salsa. There was some really delicious mustards that I was trying. I'm like, I'm eating my lunch here at Wood Orchard Market, and everything has been so delicious.
What we love about visiting the host counties is learning more about the businesses and the people who are running the businesses and the unique crops that are grown in each county.
A chance for current Alice, Ashley Hagnow, to learn, then share with consumers.
Every day as Alice, I'm learning something new and experiencing something different. And as we look ahead to the Alice in Dairyland finals already next year in May, What will be so incredible is being able to welcome our next group of top candidates to Door County when the time comes for the press briefing as well as the Alice and Dairyland finals, to allow them to experience Door County agriculture as well and have those moments too of, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was here in Wisconsin or this was part of Door County. Those are some really special moments that I'm excited to keep experiencing myself as Alice and being able to then share those moments as well.
This is the first time in 40 years Door County has hosted this prestigious statewide competition.
What's great about Door County is not only is there diverse agriculture, but the consumers that come to Door County and are able to consume those wonderful products. Such a great place to have the finals, and we are so delighted to be partnering with Door County for the finals.
We'll take you deeper into Evergreen Nursery as well on a future show. Ashley tells me she expects to log around 45,000 miles by year end. I will be tagging along on many of her adventures in Door County. I'm excited to MC the finals next May. Welcome back. Enrollment is now open for Wisconsin 4-H, and whether you are new to the program or a longtime participant, you need to log on and register. So here with a look at the benefits of 4-H, we welcome Melinda Pollan from Brown County. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Well, I have grown my love of 4-H over the last year. Talk to us about the growth of 4-H and remind us the diversity that your team covers.
Yeah, 4-H is really one of the most robust programs for youth to get involved with. We have projects, 300 of them for young people to choose from. It really is about finding the spark of every individual young person. And even within a family, multiple kids have different interests. And so 4-H allows them to find their own individual spark while participating as a family. Our programming is for kindergarten, 5 years old and in kindergarten, all the way through 1 year post high school. Gives you the opportunity to really dive in, learn, find your spark, and really find your place with 4-H.
How is 4-H organized? We're going to go to the county level, and then from there, we're going to find a local club.
Yeah, so there's a 4-H program in every county across Wisconsin. There's an extension office. Somebody like myself and John and that are in Brown County, every county has one of us that helps to oversee and kind of support the 4-H clubs and groups. And then within the clubs, within the counties, we have 4-H clubs that meet regularly. So in Brown County, our list is about 17, 18 deep. Wow. And about 500 young people that participate. We'd love to have more, so encouraging people to reach out and learn more about it. We can start 4-H clubs with 5 kids and a couple of families.
The county fair, sort of the headline event, so to speak. A lot of kids are working towards exhibiting there with their projects, but there are activities that happen year-round.
For sure, for sure. Our 4-H clubs do activities monthly. Our county projects have monthly programs or quarterly programs, learning days. We have sewing workshops and basketball tournaments and drama and music festivals, creative arts festivals, lots and lots of different ways to get involved throughout the year. And you're right, for many of our 4-Hers, that fair is the capstone experience that gets them to showcase what they've learned all year in their projects and really get that public affirmation for the work that they've done.
I've been talking to a lot of friends who, like me, do not have a background in 4-H, and I said, basically think of anything your kid is interested in. Robotics, they have it. Cooking, they have it. Horses, they have it. You don't even have to have a horse. But if you have an interest, you can help not only grow that, but help them to connect with others who do.
Absolutely. Really, finding out what your young person has an interest in, and then connecting with a club or a leader or a parent or a caring adult that can help to guide that project as well. There really is something for everyone in 4-H.
Talk about the role that adults play as well. You need leaders, you need volunteers, you need people to host project days.
Absolutely. 4-H wouldn't exist without the caring adults and volunteers that make it happen. In most county offices, it's 1, maybe 2 staff members and a support staff. So really, the volunteers are the heart of our 4-H program. We look for them to help in small and large ways. From a 1 hour, you really know how to crochet and are willing to teach people how to do that. We'd love to talk with you there. You want to dedicate or donate about a few hours a month of your time, we have roles for you. And if you want to get really involved with us, there's those as well. But volunteers are the heart of our program.
And signing up, it's not a large cost to participate in 4-H. It's a very simple process.
It is. It's a very simple process. You can call our office. office, and any extension office can help you talk through that, or you can go right to our website. You enroll through an online system called 4-H Online, and you register right there. There's the costs are minimum just to participate in the program is very, at least in Brown County, it's about $5 a year to participate as a member in the 4-H program.
Talk about the interaction between ages, since there's kindergartners through just out of high school involved in the same club. Why is that important?
So what happens when we have older young people mentoring younger young people, if they have that 1.5 generation above them or half a generation above them that they can look up to and mentor. So our younger kinders, first, second, and third graders really look up to those high schoolers to see what they can do, to see what they should be working towards, and all of the cool things that 4-H has to offer them. 4-H is an opportunity not only to learn your skills around a project, but your leadership as well, and so we see that growing with our members over time.
Here's the link. We'll have it on our website as well. Visit 4h.extension.wisc.edu. Thanks for being here, and have another great year.